This is told in a view of a boy when he was a teenager. His name is Isaac, and this is his story. When I was 13 or 14, I had experience like nothing else. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of a show called The Loud House? If you have, that's great. If you haven't, I'll give you a small rundown. It's a Nickelodeon show about an 11-year-old boy named Lincoln Loud and his 10 sisters. Lori, Lenny, Luna, Luann, Lynn, Lucy, Lana, Lola, and Lisa, and Lily. This is one of the most popular shows on Nickelodeon to date. Anyway, what could be so scary about a lighthearted show like this, you might ask? Well, there's been some lost episodes you might have heard of, but that the creators think they've hid from you. Like, for example, Enough is Enough. But the lost episode I experienced makes enough is enough seem like a happy episode. Like I said before, I was 13 or 14 years old when this happened. And I was kind of a fan of horror movies, like The Exorcist, 1973, and The Shining, 1980. So I wasn't really yet scared of stuff like that until this episode. At this time, The Loud House was on its third season. It's about the time the last episode was said to come out. And I was really enjoying this show up until then. This fateful morning, I got up and was ready to watch this new episode. I made myself breakfast and turned on the TV, headed to the Nickelodeon streaming app, and clicked on The Loud House. I went to the newest episode, but there was no title, no description. It just said, The Loud House, Season 3, Episode 26. I didn't know why it didn't have an episode title or description, but I clicked on it anyway. The episode started as usual with the intro, but the intro was very weird. The music was disorienting. It was low and buggy. Also, I noticed Luann wasn't even in the intro, and that Luna's eyes were bloodshot red. And at the end of the intro, Luann was still not there, and Luna still had the same bloodshot red eyes. But the rest of the siblings looked dead and decaying. And Lily didn't even walk across the screen and say poo-poo, like she normally does. I thought it was strange, but I was interested, so I kept watching. When the episode started, it would normally show a title card, but when it showed on a really weird title, card, it read Insanity. The words were red and blood was dripping from the letters. Anyway, the episode started with Luann playing with her ventriloquist dummy, Mr. Coconut. Lori was there too, and both of them were outside of the Loud House. Luann was making her usual jokes to Lori. Lori got annoyed and grabbed Mr. Coconuts and threw him into the street. Luann ran after him, and just when she made it to him, a car sped towards her and hit her head on. The car didn't stop, it just drove off. The driver probably freaked out and didn't want to get in trouble, I assumed. Anyway, Lori quickly looked up from her phone and gasped. She broke down and started crying. The rest of the family came out and saw the scene. The camera panned towards it and showed it. I almost threw up. Blood was all over the road, and multiple body parts and organs were there too. The scene cut to black, and I texted a week later. It opened up at a funeral. I was pretty sure it was Luann's. The camera showed Luna's face. It looked more depressed than the others, and of course, tears poured out from her eyes. The camera stayed focused on Luna for a minute, and then the scene cut to black again. Now saying 1 day later, it showed Luna coming out of her room and wielding a knife. She knocked on Lori and Lenny's room door. Lori opened it, and before she could ask what Luna wanted, Luna grabbed her neck and made Lori walk back into the room, where she held Lori down and tried to stab her. Lori's screams alerted the rest of the family. Their dad, Lynn Sr., had to force Luna off Lori. When Luna was taken off Lori, Lynn Sr. asked her why she attacked Lori. Luna told him because she felt like it. Luna was grounded, but it looked like that it didn't faze her. The scene cut back once again and said 2 weeks later. The scene opened up to Luna and Luann's room. Luna was sitting on her bunk and writing something in her diary. Then she closed it and looked up from the camera. Her eyes became light red, almost like a pink color. She placed her diary on her bunk and jumped down. She grabbed the knife from the bedside table and exited the room. The scene then showed Lori in the kitchen all by herself, talking to her boyfriend Bobby on her phone. And then it showed Luna slowly walking up behind her. Luna raised the knife halfway above her head, and then she went to stab her. Lori turned around and screamed. Lori dropped her phone and ran out of the house with Luna following close behind her. This alerted some of the neighbors, and they confronted Luna. The life was taken away from her, and she was back inside. The neighbors told the parents and they grounded Luna for longer. The scene cut to black again, saying 1 week later again. It showed Luna writing in her diary again. When she looked up, her eyes were more red than they used to be. She grabbed a knife again and went to attack Lori. Again, she was stopped and grounded for even longer. It passed another week, and Luna's eyes were more red. This repeated for 2 more times until it showed Luna's eyes for the time. This time, they were bloodshot red. She grabbed the knife for the last time. She looked like she was determined to finish the job. She knocked on Lori and Lenny's room. Lori answered, but as she did, Luna tackled her and repeatedly stabbed her over and over again. After Luna was done, she realized that her siblings might see this. She did it. So she targeted the rest of her siblings and quickly stabbed them repeatedly as well. Just then, she heard their parents come home. She quickly rushed off into her parents' room as her parents walked in. They called out. They were confused why their kids didn't call out, but as soon as they walked into the room, they gasped. There on the floor, face down, was Luna, and on the wall there was words written in blood saying, "I did it." They, of course, turned Luna over and saw a knife right in her chest, with blood constantly spilling out of the wound. After that, the scene cut to black again, black, then faded back to Luna and Luann's room, as the camera showed what Luna wrote in her diary. Now, this was the most unsettling part of this. This is what the diary said. "Dear Diary, this past week has been so hard for me. One person that I cared for has died. I feel like I need to eliminate the one who caused this. My oldest sister, Lori. I don't want to, but I don't know if I can help it. I put my plan into action. Unfortunately, I was stopped by my parents and grounded. I still need to feel like I killed her, though." That was just one page. The next one's even more disturbing, but I'll summarize it for you. The next pages talk about how Luna slowly goes insane, how she can't help wanting to end Lori's life and the other stuff. There's also dried blood on every single page, even a page where it looked like Luna came to her senses one time and wrote, "Help me." It was very disturbing for me. When the episode was done, there was no music, just a black background with red letters with blood dripping for the credits. I was shocked with this episode, and as soon as it ended, I went on the internet and reported my experience to see if anyone else saw what I did. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anyone who saw what I did. You might call me crazy for this, but I swear this was real. If I get you to think I made this up, but trust me, I know what I saw and I can't remove it from my memory. This is the reason I stopped watching the show and also reloaded the Nickelodeon streaming app and went to the Loud House. But the thing that freaks me out is that episode wasn't there. It was just a regular episode and it showed I never watched it. That's Isaac's story. Believe him if you want, but there's no actual record of this episode airing, and you can't find it anywhere else. So is it really telling the truth? That's for you to decide. I hope you enjoyed this story. I'm sorry it was longer than the other ones. I know I kind of made this into a lost episode kind of story, but this idea came to me and I just loved it too much to not make it a story. Anyway, if you want some more Halloween things before Halloween, go check out Adam's Toyland's channel. He's doing something over there as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Also, I apologize for my voice. And I'll see you in the next video. So, bye!